Hello everyone. My name is Art Russell. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share some reminders about reality and the law of attraction that have come to my attention during the last several years. I've found them so helpful that I actually keep a printed copy of them on a chair close to my bed. This is in a location where I'm sure to see them when I first arise in the morning. I'm hoping that the pointers or the reminders that I'm going to share with you will help you understand more about your essential nature and also about the deeper workings of the law of attraction. So let's go straight to the reminders. I'm going to show you a copy of them so that you can refer to them later if you find them useful to you. There you go. You can just pause the video and print them or disregard them if they don't feel suitable for you. So here's the first reality and law of attraction reminder. This is the reflection, the waking state dream. Now, the reason I might have needed to be reminded of that is because this is so totally different than the way we normally process reality. We've been conditioned to believe that we arise as the person in the morning and are the doer of actions. This is saying this, all of this, everything we see, all of the events that take place, our body-mind is the reflection, the waking state dream. In much the way that events take place in the dream state at night, events also take place in the waking state dream. Now, the second reminder is more related to the law of attraction, about how we create. You move mentally. Being creates. Now, this is in line with everything that books about the law of attraction teach us. That before we can manifest rich evidence of rich resources and a rich life, we must first be it. So we move mentally. So we have to shift our focus to being rich or healthy within, not within the body mind, within our spark of consciousness, to be it. If you want to have loving circumstances, be that love, as Mahatma Gandhi is well known for stating. If you want your health, be it, imagine it, envision it first. The third reminder is from Neville Goddard, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with his work. He was a Barbadian mystic who taught about our essential nature and also how we create. From a book entitled Interpretation of Scripture by Neville Goddard, we have the following reminder. Now, I have found this very useful. I don't need it anymore, really, but over the last year, to be able to, oh yes, look at this printed reminder on a chair close to my bed, and it orients me again to this paradigm shift. However much you seem to be living in a material world, you are actually living in a world of imagination. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But if any of you care to look into the nature of matter through experiments such as the double slit experiment and the nature of matter, where they keep seeking the most minute particles, they find that scientists discover that they're actually made of light, their energy. Another quote from Neville Goddard: remember, God is your consciousness, your I am. So when you are imagining, God is doing it. Now, knowing that certainly puts you in a position of accessing more power, recognizing, knowing again that which you truly are. When we believe we're the limited perspective, the limited person of flesh and bones, it only makes sense that we're limited to the abilities that we believe that we hold. For instance, if I, as the person, as the perspective of the person, don't believe that I'm especially gifted mechanically, am I likely to be found taking an engine apart and then trying to put it together with probably a few parts left over, which is not a good thing, from what I've been told. So when you know your true I am, God is your consciousness, your I am. So when you are imagining, God is doing it instead of Art Russell or Jane Doe or John Smith. The next reminder, you as the body mind are not the doer. Now, I definitely know that it seems as though we are. I've been conditioned to believe that too, but I no longer do. There's one doer, God. And there's actually entire books that have been written about this subject, many of them, I'm sure, but one is entitled the Ashtavakra Gita. And it's about non-doership, that we as the body-mind are not the doer. For instance, here's a quote here. The Supreme One is the creator of all, no one else is. We're not the doer. Now, this is not something to be understood. We can know it, but if we've only taken that knowing to a mental level, we haven't truly arrived. When we awaken, we actually can feel that, can know it that way, feelingly, that we are spirit or consciousness. The next reminder, this earth is a mental realm. Now, it appears to stand on its own. Things appear to have intrinsic beingness, but they don't. And again, the double slit experiment points to this, that the conscious observer has something to do with the things that show up in consciousness. This is the law of attraction at work. And this is also how this reflection can be altered. By changing our attitude, by changing our self-image, what we imagine ourselves to be, this in the waking state dream will reflect that. I used to try to understand that from the materialist paradigm, and I, of course, at that point would think, well, I am Art Russell, the body mind. Now, I, to be honest, wasn't really sure how the apparent outer here, events and circumstances, could be reflecting what I was believing within. But when we accept that this is all occurring in a waking state dream, then it's strangely quite logical. It will be dreamed for us. We pitch the ideas feelingly. Feeling is the secret. And wait, fully trusting that that will show up in the waking state dream. Another pointer, look as 3D reality. Instead of, from the body-mind perspective, we usually look at reality. So that is subject-object, which is duality, which is false. Through whole mind, we recognize we access our true power, which is God or consciousness, instead of believing ourselves to be a limited, finite, separate self, which actually is only rendered via the mind. It has no real substance. This is where this gets very trippy in some ways. What's real, what's changeless, what's eternal is no thing. All things rise into form, fall out of form. The last point, have the faith of God. Now, this is different from saying have faith in God, which kind of puts God distant. Have the faith of God brings that knowing very close. You access all of that power, trusting that the Maker, which is our higher self, indeed wants us to have a very good life circumstances. Now, before I end this video, I'd also like to share a point that I think of it as a reminder, but I don't have it on the list. And it was by Steve Harvey, who, as many of you are probably aware, is a game show host and very successful comedian. Now, he went through some troubling times many years ago. In fact, he lived out of his car for 3 years, so he really had some very tough times. And I once heard him speak on a YouTube video, and what he said really resonated strongly, and I remember this. He said to an audience to whom he was speaking, "You don't get yourself up in the morning," as in individual power sources here getting ourselves up as separate selves, illusory separate selves. God gets you up. You don't get yourself up in the morning. God gets you up. Now, this message is echoed by Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, who shared his wisdom in the spiritual classic, I Am That. A seeker once asked him, which comes first, you or the world? Which rises first? And Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj stated, they arise together. I think of them in this way. The bigger one out here, the smaller one being the person perspective. They arise together. The person in the great big, taller, bigger world. They arise together. Our true self, capital S, is much grander than the perspective, the finite perspective of the body-mind, Art Russell. If you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to subscribe, share, and like. More information is available through my free articles at thinktwice.me and also through my book entitled This Taste of Flesh and Bones, which is available from Amazon. Excuse me, Amazon would not get you there, but Amazon might. Thank you very much for watching. I love all of you. Bye for now. We'll talk again soon.